Today's parasha, Teitzei, we're commanded to blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Why does the Torah single out Amalek? After all, Amalek was hardly the only enemy the Jewish people ever faced. Pharaoh enslaved us and murdered our children. Edom fought to prevent our passage through their land, and yet only Amalek receives this extraordinary command. So what made Amalek different? Perhaps the answer is that Amalek was not fighting over territory. Israel hadn't invaded Amalek's land. There was no border dispute, no resources to divide. Israel had just escaped from Egypt, exhausted, vulnerable, and on the move, when Amalek attacked. And the Torah emphasizes who they attacked: the weak, the weary, and the defenseless. Amalek wasn't fighting Israel because Israel had something it wanted. Amalek attacked Israel because Israel was Israel. And perhaps that's why Amalek becomes more than the name of an ancient people. Amalek represents an idea, what we might call Amalekism. Amalekism begins when hostility toward the Jewish people is no longer a means to achieve some political goal, but it becomes the goal itself. It's no longer you have something I want. It is your very existence is intolerable to me. And that brings us to something Dr. Einat Wilf has called Palestinianism. Wilf was once a strong supporter of Oslo and the two-state solution. She believed that the conflict was fundamentally about two peoples competing for the same land. Give Palestinians a state of their own, she thought, and the conflict could end. But over time, she began asking a difficult question. If the central Palestinian goal is self-determination, why has the establishment of a Palestinian state so often been linked to demands such as a mass right of return to Israel that would ultimately undermine Jewish sovereignty? Wilf concluded that for an important ideological current within Palestinian nationalism, the problem isn't simply the absence of Palestinian sovereignty, it's the existence of Jewish sovereignty. And that's what she calls Palestinianism. And the distinction matters enormously. Palestinian nationalism doesn't have to mean Palestinianism. Palestinians can seek national independence while accepting a permanent Jewish state alongside them. But Palestinianism defines their liberation through the destruction of the Jewish state. And here lies the disturbing similarity to Amalekism. It's not a comparison between Amalek and the Palestinian people. It's a comparison between two ideologies of negation, ideologies that can't tolerate Jewish national existence. Conflicts over borders can be negotiated. Conflicts over resources can be compromised. Even competing national aspirations can perhaps be reconciled. But an ideology whose goal is the elimination of the other side cannot simply be accommodated. It must be defeated intellectually, politically, culturally, and when it turns to violence, militarily. Only when Palestinian nationalism no longer defines its success through the destruction of the Jewish state can the negotiations truly begin. Not over Israel's right to exist, but over how Israelis and Palestinians can live alongside one another in peace. For more insights on the parasha and the issues shaping our lives today, please like, subscribe, and follow. Shabbat Shalom.